I really hope the leftist infighting was worth it. I hope throwing away your vote was worth it. I hope voting for Jill Stein was worth it. I hope spending a year degrading the Democratic candidate was worth it, because now it's all red. It's all red, bro. And remember, I said it's too close to be fucking around for this. Even my Canadian friends saying, oh no, of course it's going to be Kamala. Dude, I was there in 2016. Logic does not prevail. It is indoctrination. It is habit. It is religion. And the leftists who are out, don't vote. Vote Jill Stein. I'm sorry, do you see what you've done? Everybody's talking about the fucking family in the basement, and y'all aren't voting. I actually have, no words. I actually have no words for the lack of growth. It's actually insane. Because people cannot get off their asses and do the thing that makes the logical sense for the next year. They just can't do it. They have to be, on their moral high horse. And it's such a sad day. It's actually such a sad day. It's 6 a.m. here. And I just don't know, I really hope it was worth it. I really hope that your ego got the scratches that it needed, because it's all fucking red. Is that what you wanted to happen? Because that's what everyone said was going to happen. And for some reason, the whole leftist, you don't have to vote for your conscious community, didn't understand what was, or maybe they didn't care. Maybe they don't feel like they're going to be affected by the red. It's so fucking red. And people forget, I think a lot of the leftists are like, oh, well, enough people are going to vote for Kamala. People forget how much people don't like women of color. It's actually insane. And I really hope it was worth it. I first want to point out, I don't have to do any guilt tripping. Y'all are about to live in a red Supreme Court till 2050 because a lot of you wanted to stay home. I'm talking about the inaction. My first phrase was throwing away your vote. My most blame goes to the people who did not vote, or the people who encouraged that narrative that not voting was morally superior. Lots of creators did that. I saw something that said 18 million less people voted this time. That's a lot of people. I'm not just talking about Jill Stein. It's your inaction has consequences. And that is what we need to deal with. And I think that there's an issue with strategy and long-term gratification, and the fact that you want the world to be a world where you can abstain from doing things that make you feel bad, but worse things are going to happen if you don't take an action. And I think a lot of people got their shit off this round by being well, I just don't have to do anything because everybody's just so bad. There's an issue about understanding that even if you call in sick as a team, the other team showed up and won by forfeit. Deteriorating I don't want to say unity. And I think it was Angela Davis who said that Kamala running meant something spiritually to Black women. There is a good reason to ruin these things when we're talking about G-side. That being said, I don't think that the G side is stopping now that MAGA is in effect. So that strategy doesn't land. It can feel good in the moment, and this is what I'm talking about, long-term gratification. Look at that, it didn't land. And now till 2050, there could be a Supreme Court that is all red, which means they're going to keep rolling back rights. And that is an imminent action that they are going to take. I think the issue is stalling and talking so much about how I really just think people just needed to get their shit together, and they just needed to do this thing. They just needed to get it done if things were going to get better, but they don't understand how many more calcified, more permanent or long-term consequences, very red consequences, very bloody consequences are imminent due to the inaction of people who morally abstained from voting. Okay, you're saying the Jill Stein percentage wasn't enough? Well, it's real red out there. It's overwhelmingly red to a point where I do think everybody needs to take a little bit responsibility, especially if they didn't vote. So now that your new president is Trump, who obviously doesn't care about G-side, you're going to still say that you didn't vote for Kamala because of G-side? Because Republicans voted for Trump, not because of G-side, and some of y'all didn't vote at all because of G-side, and instead you have somebody who has racism at rallies, who doesn't like immigration, who says that people of different cultures eat dogs, and you think that that's going to get it done. And you didn't see any harm prevention worthiness in any of the actions you couldn't have taken with the privileges that some of your ancestors fought for tooth and nail. And you don't think they had some issues with the candidate? You don't think your black grandmother had some issues with the candidate, but was really, really understanding her right to vote and that she needed to use it if she wanted her voice to be heard and if she wanted to keep fighting for change? You think that, I'm like, at a certain point, it is a little bit of like, wow, you think you're too good to engage. And I saw a comment from somebody who stitched me and said, I didn't vote for Kamala because she showed she didn't give a fuck about the G side, which again, obviously Trump not only doesn't give a fuck, but is actively propelling racism forward in not just America, but all the surrounding countries, I think the world. Like, when I think about Canadian rallies during Trump's era, I think about the convoys and the guys who looked like Trump with their big trucks protesting anti-masks. Okay? You're filtering, you're okay not using your vote to really make sure that you are at least preventing the most racist human to be in charge of America as a superpower. And you just, I'm sorry, the logic is, it's not there. It's not there. I guess the pat on the back is, I'm just so, I'm shook that people are still stitching me, making videos like, well, I didn't vote because of my conscience. There's people who are really gonna feel that. And I just can't believe that you are fooling yourselves into thinking that you made any kind of difference or that you didn't let some harm prevention slip from your fingertips. And that you wanna organize under Trump, and you were cool not doing everything in your power to not make that happen. You were cool with that. That's called bystanding. And I often wonder if it were a different part of history where some of these people would land. Because some of these floaters, we have to be honest, are attaching to the identity for the ego benefits. And back in the day, they very well could be on a different side of a civil war because it made them feel good in their little county and town when they didn't have TikTok. Like, honestly, I just think it's a very fickle way to be thinking sometimes. I don't know.